I don't think it's an exaggeration to say that Chara is one of the most mischaracterized and misinterpreted characters in Undertale. But honestly, who the hell is Chara? I've had this idea of doing a full character analysis and clearing up common misconceptions about them for a long time now. And with the 10th anniversary coming up, I think it's about time I get to it. I want to go back to the plain old text of the game and examine who Chara really is, their role in Undertale's narrative, and why they're so important in the first place. I'll divide this into 4 main parts, starting with their backstory, then their role in the game itself, the connection between Chara and the player, and finally, I'll examine other characters' relationships with Chara. So, let's start from the very beginning of Chara's story. Sometime in 2010X, a child named Chara climbed Mount Ebott, a mountain with a known legend: those who climb it will disappear. They were from a village with golden flowers, and for reasons not even their best friend knew, they hated humanity. They also climbed the mountain for, as Asriel describes, not a very happy reason. It's clear that Chara wanted to disappear from whatever life they lived on the surface. They were the first human to fall into the underground. Upon hitting the ground, at the beginning of the ruins, they called for help, and Asriel was the one who heard their call. He helped them up and guided them out of the ruins. And that is where Chara's life in the underground began. Chara became part of the Dreamer family and was treated as Toriel and Asgore's own child. They became both best friends and siblings with Asriel. They shared a bedroom, clothes, sat next to each other at the table, filmed videos, attempted baking, pranked each other, cut photos together, and even had matching heart-shaped lockets with Best Friends Forever written on it. Chara was loved. Not just their family, but all monsterkind saw them as hope for the future. A future where humans and monsters could live together peacefully, where everyone could be free on the surface. At some point, Chara and Asriel attempted to bake a butterscotch pie for their dad, but instead of cups of butter, they put in buttercup flowers by accident. He became really sick, and Toriel got really upset. Chara laughed it off. Whether they were trying to make light of the situation to calm everyone down, or it was a nervous response, or they genuinely found the accident amusing, it doesn't really matter in the end, because what they really learned in that moment was how to kill themselves in a way that appeared to be caused by an illness. At some point during their stay in the underground, Chara learned that, in order to break the barrier, they would need 7 human souls. They also learned that, if a monster absorbed a human soul, they would become powerful enough to cross the barrier. Sometime after the pie incident, Chara told Asriel their plan. They would fatally poison themselves using buttercups, Asriel would absorb their soul, and they would cross the barrier, collect 6 human souls, and use Chara's soul alongside them to break the barrier. Who else could they trust to follow through with this plan than their best friend? Asriel was hesitant. He didn't like it, but Chara was insistent. They were determined to succeed, and Asriel trusted them. He believed that they could save everyone. Let's be clear, this was a horrible plan, but these were the same children who thought cups of butter referred to buttercup flowers. They were kids, with a short-sighted plan to save everyone, and didn't think much further. And Chara was the same child who climbed the mountain to disappear from whatever life they lived before, the same life that led them to hate humanity. Chara would have never been dissuaded, no matter what. And Asriel would have never opposed them. They were best friends, after all. And so, Chara poisoned himself, causing them to die within a few days. Asriel buried his doubts and absorbed Chara's soul. With their soul inside of him, they gained immense power, and control was split between them. Chara picked up their own body and crossed the barrier. They chose to head to their village to get 6 human souls. The humans saw a monster holding the dead body of a child. And history repeated itself, with humans deciding the truth of the matter for themselves and attacking without mercy. Chara wanted to fight back, to use their full power, but Asriel refused. He turned around, fatally injured, and walked back home holding Chara's body. His death spread across the garden, and the underground lost 2 children in one night. All hope was lost. In response to the deaths of his children, Asgore declared war on humanity, and Toriel, disgusted, took Chara's body and locked herself in the ruins forever. So, why did Chara do it? Their motivations are honestly pretty unclear, but here's 2 main ones that can be discerned. Number 1, their determination to free monster kind, and number 2, their desire to hurt the humans that they hated so much. Both of these ideas can coexist, and I personally think it was a mix of both. You could also see their willingness to kill the humans attacking them as simple desperation to stay alive. Still, that begs the question, why did they bring their own body with them? Was it to bait the humans into attacking? Or did they just want to show the humans that they were dead? After all, the reason they climbed Mount Ebott was to die in the first place. Did Chara want to show them that the way the humans treated them led to their death? And did they truly believe that what they were doing would save everyone? That they would be the one to free the monsters that loved them so much? Or did they just want power and control? Chara never explains anything. We know of Asriel's perspective of events, as well as Flowey's, and there is a difference. But we don't know what Chara was thinking, and I think their story's a lot more interesting that way. We're left to wonder why, and fill in the blanks ourselves. And yet, much too often, these blanks have been filled in by simply, they were evil from the start. Just like every other character in Undertale, Chara's not pure good or evil. They were just a kid whose decisions, regardless of their motivations, ended up changing the trajectory of monster history forever. Every human that falls down will be killed, and one day the barrier will be shattered using their souls. That is what Chara wanted in the end, isn't it? During the events of the game itself, Chara is dead. The extent of their impact on the main story is how their actions have affected Toriel, Asgore, and Flowey's lives. Chara can't influence anything in the present, as Frisk journeys through the underground. They're gone. Or are they? If you've been around the fandom a long time, you've definitely heard of the narrator Chara theory before. I don't know who exactly started it, but a post on nochocolate.tumblr.com, fitting, is one of the earliest that provides evidence, dating back to December 2015. I'm gonna explain it in my own words, though. Basically, it's the idea that every line of narration dialogue in the game is Chara's thoughts. Chara, awakened from death by your determination, joins Frisk on their journey and narrates for them. This is canon. To an extent. While I'm a personal believer that all narration dialogue is Chara, there's only a few lines that are, without a doubt, theirs. These all appear in the Geno route, sometimes, but not always marked by red text. It's the, it's me, Chara, and the, my bed, his bed, my drawing, our clothes, still has that sweater, and more in New Home. Everything you interact with in New Home on Geno, it's Chara who's providing the description, hence the use of first-person pronouns rather than second-person. But even on the neutral and pacifist routes, there's bits of narration that just mean so much more if they're interpreted as being Chara's thoughts. Here's a few examples. The names of Asriel's attacks, the utter silence during Asgore's fight, the fact that New Home doesn't have a filled with determination message, and of course, the mirror text. I know that it's you, and despite everything, it's still you, are definitely the most famous parts, but a part that I rarely see brought up is that once you've saved Asriel and the barrier is broken, if you interact with the mirror again, the text changes to still just you, Frisk. That's odd to say if Frisk was the one narrating everything, don't you think? It's only in the true pacifist ending that Frisk asserts himself as their own person, separate from both Chara and the player. These words are assurance. Frisk is their own person, and they always have been. The narrator also just knows more than Frisk would. They know all the monsters, the names of places, and have their own opinions. They're definitely not an unbiased narrator. More than just narration dialogue, there's also the fact that you see and hear Chara's memories during the game. You hear Asgore's words to them as they die upon a game over, telling them to not give up and to stay determined, They're the future of humans and monsters. Going back to sleep in Toriel's home after you've killed or spared her will also cause you to hear Asgore's final words to Chara. Upon falling down onto a bed of golden flowers and waterfall, you hear Asriel's first words to Chara. Even in the intro sequence, you see Chara's memories of falling into the underground. And, most importantly of all, during the final battle against Asriel, Frisk reminds their friends of the memories they shared to save them. Frisk doesn't have any memories of Asriel. All they know is what they've heard secondhand. And yet, when they reach out to his soul, it's Chara and Asriel's memories of their first meeting that appear. Their bond is at the heart of Undertale, and that is what lets Frisk get through to Asriel. Whether you agree with the narrator Chara theory or not, you can't deny that Chara is present with Frisk on their journey, for better or worse. But despite their presence in the neutral and pacifist routes, it's definitely their role in the genocide route that sticks in people's minds the most. After all, this is the only route where they directly appear and speak to you. Let's address the elephant in the room. There is a very, very popular idea among the fandom that Chara is the one who does the Geno route in Undertale. They take control of Frisk as their love increases and kill everyone, and erase the world at the very end. It's a theory based on the narration dialogue changes, and also how Frisk acts during the route. And I want to be clear, I don't hate this theory, but an alarming amount of people believe that this is canon with no room for debate. And it's not. It's just one way of viewing the context of the Geno route. Here's the thing though. Chara does not take control of Frisk. You do. Chara does not kill every monster in the underground. You do. You, the player, bored or curious or speedrunning, make the decision to follow through with the genocide route from beginning to end. You have the ability to stop at any point, if you really want to. You're the one who pushes the game to its limits until there's nothing left. The hardest boss is defeated, you've reached the max level, you have the items with the highest stats, there's no monsters left to kill. It's only then that Chara appears. Frisk is gone. It's just you and them. And thus, we get the only lines of dialogue Chara directly says in the entire game. Here's where things get interesting. As we all definitely know with Deltarune by now, Toby Fox loves his narratives revolving around the player and the extent of their control. Undertale is certainly no different, but I'm going to focus specifically on Chara's role in this meta-narrative. I've seen people think that Chara is meant to just be a representation of the player, but that's not the case. It's a bit more complicated than that. At the beginning of the game, you name the first human to fall into the underground. When you enter Chara, it is referred to as the true name, which is why I've used it to refer to them this entire time. But someone playing Undertale blind for the first time, they would probably just enter their own name when asked, right? In a sense, you are imposing your own identity onto Chara. You choose their name, you choose how much love they gain. And when Flowey talks to Chara, he's not always referring to his best friend, but to you. And Chara is aware of this. If you complete the Geno route a second time, they say, Chara is their own person, just as Frisk is. Just as Frisk asserts their individuality in the pacifist route, Chara does the same in the Geno route. They are not the player. They didn't kill anyone, but your kills, your love, changed them. They have lost any care they had for the world that once loved them alongside you. And thinking back to their desire to fight back against the humans, your actions prove them right in the end, that it's kill or be killed, that power is all that matters. A direct contrast to how you proved to Azrael that mercy was the right choice in the pacifist route. Once you've killed everyone, once there's no one left to oppose you, once their entire family has been turned to dust, there's nothing left to do but erase the world for good. That's what you wanted, isn't it? If you try to back out at the very end, when your only choices are to erase the world or not, Chara doesn't let you. They won't intervene if you decide to reset at any point before then, but once you're face to face with each other, it's over. Why should you be allowed to go back, to reset like nothing happened? You gave them your name. They became stronger alongside you. They gained your determination, your love. And so, at this point, your choices don't matter. This is more than Chara simply wanting to destroy the world or see things through to the very end. Chara wants you to face the consequences of your actions. It doesn't matter if you reset it all over again. Even if you're kind to everyone and don't hurt a single soul, you already chose to destroy this world once. Chara will appear in your happy ending to remind you that you killed every single person that loves you so dearly. I do wonder if they're projecting, just a little bit. This is just speculation on my part, but Chara never got to reset. Their brother died because of their plan. A rift formed between their parents that would never heal. The entire underground fell into despair. And in the end, monsters never got to go free. In their eyes, all they ever accomplished was hurting the people who loved them. And they didn't get a do-over. They died. Why should you get a second chance? But as if most things relating to Chara's motives, there's lots of different interpretations you can make. In fact, here's another one. Chara calls you their partner. Together, we eradicated the enemy and became strong. Together, you brought the world to its destruction. This plan of yours, to destroy everything, to see everything the game has to offer, at the very last moment, choosing to turn back, choosing not to erase it, going back on your word. It is a betrayal of everything you have sacrificed to make it that far. Choosing pacifism now, after everything, is a waste. You made your choice long ago. Chara and Azrael found their resolve to cross the barrier and get 6 human souls. Chara poisoned themselves for the sake of it. And yet, at the very last moment, Azrael chose not to fight, to let both of them die. It was a betrayal of everything they worked so hard for, wasn't it? I think Chara might see you in a similar way, if you try to turn back. However, speculation aside, I also want to point out that Chara doesn't want the Chara route to happen. This is a common misconception I see presented as canon all the time. I think the most damning piece of evidence against it is the fact that they directly say, upon the completion of a second Geno route, There they are, directly telling you, hey, don't do this again. People have often used Chara's generation dialogue as proof that they want you to kill everyone, such as them counting down the number of monsters left in an area. But once again, that dialogue doesn't occur until you have started the route. Monster counting doesn't even happen until Snowdin, when it's been made clear you aren't going to stop. Chara doesn't show up in the pacifist route saying, hey, you should commit genocide. If you're kind, so are they. Their narration reflects your decisions. They aren't the voice in your head telling you to kill everyone. Also, side note, Chara is soulless. They only exist because of determination, just like Flowey. They lack the ability to fully feel compassion and love. But, just like Flowey, if you show them kindness over and over again, they'll accept it. If you show them that Azrael was right to choose mercy, they will accept it. Chara isn't the player, but they are influenced by their actions. You can prove them right or wrong to have chosen violence back then, but it's all up to you. I've talked a lot about how I view Chara and their role in the story, but what about how they're seen by other characters? In the present, most monsters who were alive when Chara and Azrael were around have long since passed. The only characters who talk about them are Asgore, Flowey, and of course, Gerson? Yeah, Toriel never actually mentions them in the entire game, but she doesn't really need to. The fact that she protected and cared for every single human that fell down after them says enough, as well as the fact that she took their body with her to the ruins and buried them. But beyond that, she checks on where Chara fell every single day to see if anyone else has fallen down. She keeps a brand name chocolate bar in the fridge, which is implied to be a food Chara enjoyed. She treats each human as her own child. By the time Frisk falls, she is so tired of child after child dying because she failed to stop them from leaving. She steals her resolve to destroy the exit for good. She couldn't protect Chara. She didn't know of their plan until the dust had settled and both of her children were gone. But she kept trying, again and again, to protect someone, anyone. For better or worse, Toriel has dedicated the rest of her life to protecting every single child that falls down. Another thing about Chara and Toriel is that they share similar speech patterns. They both introduce themselves with "Greetings, I am," which is a nice touch, considering Azrael and Asgore both greet themselves with "Howdy." I do think that's intentional. Asgore only mentions Chara once, and it's when he's talking to Frisk during their battle. Asgore calls Chara the future of humans and monsters as they're dying. He had high hopes for them and wanted them to stay determined, to live. He truly believed Chara was capable of great things and that they could be a bridge between human and monster kind, a role that he asked Frisk to take on in the pacifist ending. He sees Chara's hope, their determination, in Frisk. Perhaps Asgore's hopes for Chara are part of what led them to be so determined to break the barrier in the first place. So, what about Flowey? A soulless, time-looping flower created from Azrael's dust and determination, who also sees Chara and Frisk. He doesn't really think about how Chara could possibly be alive. If he could come back, of course they could. Now, Flowey's perception of Chara is a little, just a tiny bit, biased. You know, just a little. I feel like a lot of people's perceptions of Chara as a crazy murderer stem from how he talks about them in the Geno route, which, well, yeah, understandable. But you've gotta remember, Flowey is a very unreliable narrator, and all of his memories are muddled by his dead-set belief that they both died because he refused to kill anyone. At this point, he fully believes that he should have let Chara kill everyone. They were right all along. He's also been in a time loop for who knows how long, watching everything repeat over and over and over. He is not the most sane individual, and he's also been idolizing Chara as an ideal for how he should act, rather than seeing them as a person. It ain't healthy in the slightest. He's taken that one moment of Chara choosing violence and made it his whole personality. Wild. However, Flowey thinks Frisk is Chara regardless of what route you are on. He's projecting. Whether you're going around hugging or stabbing everyone, he's like, yep, that's my bestie Chara. Flowey's unhealthy coping mechanisms really should not be used as proof that Chara's evil. At the end of Pacifist, he does recognize that Frisk is Frisk, the player's a whole separate entity, and that Chara's been gone for a long time. In Geno, he doesn't. He dies believing that his best friend is the one killing him. Focusing back on the pacifist route, I do want to talk about one part of Asriel's dialogue in particular. And, well, he's right. His best friend that he's clung to and idolized all this time wasn't perfect. They weren't right for wanting to kill those humans. They were just a kid like them, making what they believed was the right decision. Chara wasn't perfect, but no one in Undertale is. That's what makes this world and these characters so interesting. Oh, I also mentioned Gerson as someone who knew about Chara, didn't I? Yeah, he's just got one line about Asgore and Toriel's children, which is important. It shows that the monsters at the time did recognize Chara as part of the royal family. It's neat. Hold on. Now that I think about it, Alfie's would know about Chara too? She watched the tapes, so... Actually, back to the tapes and Asgore and Toriel. How much did they know? Chara and Asriel definitely didn't tell them about the plan. If they had known, they would have stopped them. But they're both adults. They're not stupid. When Chara got sick, did they think it was illness? Or did they know it was poison? When Asriel came back dying, did they piece it together? Did they see him die? They must have. Toriel definitely hasn't seen the tapes, but Asgore might have. We don't know. How much do they know of their children's fate? In New Home, you hear the story of the first human in Asriel, but it's wrong. Is that the story Asgore told everyone, to cover up the truth? Or is that what he believed happened? Did he really think his children died because one suddenly got a horrible illness, and the other absorbed their soul out of grief? Or was he just trying to protect them? Protect the memory of the human the monsters adored? Or was Asriel the one to tell him what happened before he died, and chose to lie? Oh, I got really sidetracked, didn't I? Where was I? Now, before I end the video, here's some additional stuff that I couldn't really fit anywhere else. Enjoy! Chara is exclusively referred to with they-them pronouns, just like Frisk. I'll repeat that one more time. Chara uses they-them pronouns. It's not up to interpretation. They're their own person, and those are the pronouns everyone uses to refer to them. Non-binary representation is very difficult to find, even now, and especially back in 2015. Representation matters, so don't erase it. One Geno route narration change that I've always found kind of funny is that the snowdecahedron in Snowden is just called a snowball. I guess silly time's over, which makes sense. However, my favorite bit of Geno narration is definitely during the Sans fight. During the final few turns, when you're getting damaged inside the text boxes and all that, Chara says, "Reading this doesn't seem like the best use of your time, while you're actively dying. Thanks, Chara." An extra detail that I find interesting is that the Worn Dagger's description says that it's perfect for cutting plants and vines, which implies that maybe Chara had an interest in gardening? Or it could just be a dig at Flowey. Considering that the drawing they made hanging up in their room's a flower, as well as the fact that Asgore has kept gardening tools in the house and the fact that he takes care of his garden, maybe the two of them garden together. Who knows? One more thing, because I know people are going to bring it up in the comments, so no, I don't think the Chara jump scare you get in Soulless Pacifist is meant to imply that they take control and murder everyone or whatever. I do think they're just fucking with you. We know that Chara enjoys scaring people, as seen in the tapes, and they jump scare you in Geno as well. And also in Geno, a lot of the narration just becomes creepier, and I do think that's more just them messing with you more than anything. Now, music is very important to Undertale, but Chara doesn't really have a theme or leitmotif. The only bit of music that's like really associated with them is the... And that's not really a song. I've seen people propose Megalovania or Determination as their theme, but As I was writing this video, I had a thought. What if Once Upon a Time is their leitmotif? Now, Once Upon a Time, or the Undertale leitmotif, is certainly the main theme of the game. That is what it's intended for, and I don't think it was ever meant to be interpreted as a specific character's theme. But if there was a leitmotif to represent them, I really think Undertale fits them best. The Undertale leitmotif appears time and time again throughout the soundtrack, but its most impactful moments? We hear it in Hopes and Dreams, the boss theme of Chara's best friend. We hear it in the intro sequence, the latter half of which shows Chara's fall into the underground. And, of course, we hear it in Undertale, the song that plays when we hear the story of Asriel and Chara. The two main motifs that play throughout the entirety of the track are Asriel's and the main theme. Thinking of Chara being represented by the main theme in that song makes it hurt a lot more. I already said it once, but Asriel and Chara really are at the heart of Undertale. Now, I went into this intending to focus solely on the text within the game. However, there is one piece of outside material that I think is too important to ignore. In Toby Fox's Fall 2024 newsletter, to celebrate Undertale's 9th anniversary, we were given a letter. My best friend's favorite number is 9. It's because there isn't a number that's higher. 9, 99, 999, 999,000. If everything gets high enough, you become invincible. Nothing can hurt you anymore. Nothing can hurt anyone anymore. But isn't it scary to think there's a highest number? That if you made 99 good memories, you couldn't hold anymore. So, I don't like to keep count of the flowers we pick, or the times that they laugh, or how many scary faces they make. I just hope we'll be friends for 999 more years. Nothing can hurt you anymore. Nothing can hurt anyone anymore. Reaching max love. 99 attack, defense, HP, 9,999 XP. Power is one way to protect yourself, to protect those you love. Chara wanted power so that they wouldn't hurt anymore, so that no one would. Given what's implied about their life before they fell, it's really sad. So, to answer the question of the video, who the hell is Chara? There's so much we don't know about them, and that's okay. We know they were loved. They were best friends with Asriel. The dreamer saw them as their own child. We'll never know exactly why, but Chara was determined to cross the barrier. Their life didn't matter to them. Dying for their family, for monster kind, to fulfill the high hopes everyone had for them, it wasn't a question. For a child who had already attempted suicide once, who loved monsters and hated humans, and who knew their soul was key to breaking the barrier, there was no choice. What did it matter if Asriel didn't like their plan? If they succeeded, everyone would be free. Asriel just had to follow their lead. But, on the other hand, they also wanted power and control. They brought their body with them to their village. They wanted to fight back. They wanted to kill 6 humans and take their souls. Did they really want to free monsters? Or did they only want power? Honestly, I don't think these reasons should be separated from each other. Rather, they wanted power as a means to both ends. Both to save the monsters who gave them a home, and to get revenge against the humans who drove them to suicide. In the end, there's so much we don't know, and we never will. But I'm so tired of all the people who've reduced them to just a creepy child who wants to kill all monsters. That's not who they are. They are influenced by the player's actions, but they're separate from them. If you spare everyone and save their best friend, they see no reason to interfere. But if you push everything to its limits and kill all of monster kind in their hopes, they will make sure you see it through to the very end and face the consequences. They weren't perfect, not in life or death, and they certainly shouldn't be used as a paragon of morality. Looking at you, Flowey. But Chara didn't need to be perfect to be loved. Asgore, Toriel, Asriel, and all monster kind love them, that's for certain. Chara matters to Undertale. They aren't just the kid who appears at the end of Geno, jump scares you, then disappears. They're such a vital part of all routes of the game, and their presence can be felt everywhere in the underground. Treating them as just evil is a discredit to the writing of Undertale, and completely misses the point of its story. If you can forgive Asriel for what he did as Flowey, you can certainly take a more nuanced look at Chara's actions too. Now, listen, I didn't make this video to try and be the best Chara analysis or whatever. This is still just my own opinions and interpretations in the end. I still think that, if you really want to understand Chara, just play the game. Read the dialogue, make your own conclusions. Don't accept my interpretations as irrefutable canon. And besides, given how old Undertale is, I'm sure other people have already said what I've said here once before. I made this video simply to provide a different perspective on Chara than the common fandom interpretation. I like Chara and Undertale a lot, as you can probably tell. So, if what I've said here is able to change at least one person's perception of Chara even a little bit, I'll be happy.